What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall market. And we're talking about some very, very big catalysts coming out for tomorrow that could cause more volatility for the markets and what you should be watching for as time goes on. Just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30. The offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the market. So, as far as NIO is going, we have a very, very nice looking structure right here. We have a nice double bottom that's been forming. This kind of resembles an inverse head and shoulders, but we need NIO to hold this 4.42 level. If this could hold, we're going to be looking for a rebound attempt at least so far. Now, whether or not that happens depends on the reaction to this data. They delivered about 13,192 vehicles in February. That's an increase of about 62.2% overall year over year. They had about a total of a 62% increase, and they consisted of about 9,143 vehicles from their overall brand NIO and 4,000 deliveries from their Envo brand. So this is actually a bit of a decrease from the last few months. If you look at the fact that we were getting like 20,000 deliveries over and over again, this may not be that big of a surprise though, especially as we had the Lunar New Year period and we ended up seeing a shift here and there. But hopefully we get a very, very strong end of the quarter. By March, I hope we really help to offset this small decline. Now, looking at their previous sales, at least for the year, we actually saw their sales in February a little bit weaker than January. Once again, don't forget about the Lunar New Year, which does affect things. So that could be one of the big reasons why. And then on top of this, you have to look at the fact that in total, we have about a little bit under 700,000 deliveries in total since the company had started. And that's very, very important as well. So I would say that these deliveries were not too bad, basically the same as last month. Slight decrease, possibly because of Lunar New Year. However, I'm hoping that we get a very, very strong comeback for, March and then going into like the next upcoming months. So I want to make that very, very clear. As far as we're going into the future, we'll be watching some very, very key levels, and we'll see how things end up going for them. Looking at more data, JP Morgan is neutral, and besides that, the price price ratio is starting to uptrend just a bit as NIO has been building a little bit more strength. Mondays tend to be green about 49% of the time, and Tuesdays are green about 55% of the time. And that's pretty much it. We'll have to see what happens from here. Lastly, I just want to mention that NIO has provided its February delivery update. Nice increases all over the place. And then you also have to see that there's about 27,000 deliveries year to date in 2025. Big increase compared to last year, but then once again, it's expected to see a slight decline compared to what we saw during those, previous quarters. Like if you look at Q3 and Q4, this is a slight decrease, but it is what it is. This is very, very common during this time. As far as the market goes, we got a very, very nice bounce on Monday. The majority of stocks were in the green, looking at Nvda, Aapl, SPY, and the others. But whether or not we continue this bounce depends on some data. So tomorrow is going to be Monday, March 3rd. We have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI report coming out, the ISM Manufacturing PMI, employment, and other pieces of data. It's going to cause more volatility. So get ready for that at 10 o'clock a.m. So that's going to be very, very huge for us. We'll see what this leads to. These manufacturing numbers are going to be key. So we'll see if this causes some kind of dip or not. But I do suspect that as far as the market goes, there could be some kind of pullback move. And as long as we make a higher low, the market could still try to reverse. There's a good chance that that could be what's about to happen. Now, to add on to this, I just want to mention that as far as we are going, this is what the earnings calendar looks like. It's very quiet, at least for Monday. Tuesdays when we have more retail, such as like Target and Best Buy, not to mention AutoZone. Wednesday and Thursday, everything else is decent. Costco's actually decent when it comes to like their it's gonna have a decent effect on like retail, if anything. And besides that, this is gonna be very, very important. So get ready for all of that. For the fear and greed index, this is currently at fear right now. There's a lot of fear that's still present in the markets. Everything is quite extremely fearful, which makes me suspect and wonder if we're going to see a big increase or not. Looking at the overall puts to call ratio, it's still very low here, which makes me suspect that the big dump that could be coming for the year is not in yet, and that we might be seeing some relief first as we're already at extremes before a bigger dump later on. I will talk more about that in just a few minutes. Once again, our other indicators show the same thing, which I will talk about later on. One last thing I want to add, Donald Trump has his tariffs coming out. So make sure you guys are prepared for that just in case. We'll see if Trump ends up trying to delay these or not. That's going to be very important. On Tuesday, he may be imposing 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico. 10% on other products such as like petroleum for Canada. And then for China, we could be looking for about an additional 10% tariffs on them on March 4th. So that is the deadline that's coming up. We'll see if Donald Trump continues with that or not, or is this just going to be some kind of negotiation tactic? We'll have to see. That's going to be very, very big for Tuesday, what Donald Trump ends up doing. So get ready. So as far as the market goes, I want to mention that NIO is outperforming. We have an inverse head and shoulders like pattern. I'm hoping we get some kind of balance from here. As long as we hold 4.44, we're looking for a move back up to about 4.8. For SPY, I just want to mention that we're trying to reverse a bit here, at least on the 4-hour time frame. But there is one problem. We're not officially breaking this high right here. I want to see us get back above like 599 to really start pushing upwards. So what could happen is if we do try to go a little higher in the morning, we're going to be watching to see what the manufacturing numbers cause. We have all this manufacturing data. We'll see if that causes some kind of dip or not. If we lose 590, we're looking for a dip back down towards 585. If we could hold 590 or so, if we do hold that, then that could be a sign we're going to make a higher low, eventually try to push back up as the week progresses, just like this. So I want to see if we could establish a higher low right here. As long as we could try to get back above 590, as long as we hold that, we could dip a little bit, then try to hold it. Then we're going to be looking for a move right back up. That's the most likely move for SPY. I do favor that a bit more, but this is going to depend on tariffs and other factors I can't truly predict. Like, who knows if Trump is going to truly impose the tariffs or delay them? We'll have to see. So keep that in mind. Same thing with the QQQ. We could be looking for a very similar move. Now, as long as we get back above like 512, we're looking for a bounce for 516. If we lose 506, then 502, we could be dipping. But I just want to say that we're doing a good job so far. So for now, I think that there's a good chance we try to bounce a little bit more. We do have this imbalance to fill right here. We'll see if we come down first, if the manufacturing numbers cause some kind of dip first. But I would like to see us try to hold this bottom. As long as that holds, we're looking for a move right back up. And we could slowly try to push towards this imbalance fill as we approach the tariffs. Now, Donald Trump's tariffs, I don't know if they're going to be delayed or what the effect is. We are trying to price them in right now. So if Donald Trump delays them, this is going to be pumping a lot more. If not, we could see a temporary move up, then a big reaction after that. But for now, look for a small pullback and possibly a bounce. As long as we try to hold this low right here, the market should attempt to hold up. It's trying to form a base and it is due for a small bounce move after so much downside. For the Russell 2000, we bounced off this trend line, then we bounced again, so we're trying to hold this. I wouldn't be surprised if we try to get closer to our 200 EMA. What could happen is the same thing, some kind of pullback move before it tries to push closer to like 216, then eventually all the way up to about that 218 area. So watch that very closely. For let me just double check this. We have ES. ES is doing the same thing. We're actually trying to hold this support right here. So it's a very, very nice looking pattern. We had this like channel, a breakout, another channel, a breakout, and a dump. But in this case, as we're forming a wick here, we're actually trying to rebound towards the upper channel here. So we'll see if we get some kind of dip first before it tries to push towards this resistance and what the move ends up being if we break through this or not. If we do break this, we're looking for a bigger pump. If we break out of this trend line, we're going to be trying to revisit these highs up here. So we're going to be watching that for confirmation. But that's just a temporary move, guys. The downside move is not done for the overall market. I still think we can make new lows in the future. We're just going to watch and see if we get a temporary relief rally first. That's what I'm going to be watching for, at least for the time being. If you're bearish, you want to see us basically hold below 58.50. We actually bounced to get back above the 5900s, which is a good sign. So look and see if we get some kind of pullback move and we try to bounce. If we break this trend line, we're going to be trying to see a temporary bullish move, and we'll see what that leads to, at least moving forward. I'll be talking more about this in just in my video for tomorrow. NQ, same thing. We're trying to bounce off our 200 EMA. We're going to be looking for 21,000 resistance or above, and we'll see what the reaction is. Bitcoin's trying to bounce right here. We'll see if we break past 95,000 to push higher. It is pushing after some nice news from Trump. Nvda is trying to push for a 126 or above. We could be looking for a push there. Tesla could be pushing towards this trend line right here, looking for an attempt for 302, maybe a little higher, and we'll see if we reject or not. But for now, I do see potential in this. 302 could be coming very, very soon for the short term, and we'll see if we reject. Apple is holding support right here, so it could see a small dip-like move, and as long as it holds 238, we're looking for a rebound to slowly get back up to this gap fill, try to get closer to about 245. The stock looks resilient and it's forming a nice accumulation, so it's doing a good job. Even on AMD, we've dumped really hard. We have to see if we could try to hold above 100. If we reclaim that, we could retest the trend line at 105. If not, we could be dumping lower, so give this some time. Coin, we've been on a bit of a downtrend. We'll have to see if we could try to get back up to fill that gap, so give this the time it needs. For Amazon, Amazon's also looking quite decent. We're on a bit of a downtrend right here, but we'll see if we push to 215 or not, at least just temporarily. For Meta, we're trying to hold our 50 EMA. We'll see if we bounce back up to about 682. For Microsoft, we'll have to see if we get back towards like 401 as well. So give that some time. And lastly, we have Google. We'll have to see if we can reclaim 175. So give these stocks the time they need. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. I'm going to be very, very patient with these new developments. So give this even more time. And then as far as the future goes, at least for this market, it's going to be dependent on some data and these tariffs. I am anticipating, though, we might be attempting to make a higher low before the market tries to go higher. And then as long as that happens, we could see a temporary relief move just for the time being. But we'll see how the tariffs affect us. On the other hand, NIO is looking quite promising. We actually have a nice 4-hour time frame here. As long as we don't lose 4.42, we could be looking for a bounce for 4.8. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with another upload. Thank you for listening again, and peace out.